I remember driving north on Fairfax and stopping for a light, and these three coyotes just walked diagonally across the intersection like they absolutely owned it. It wasn't just the presence of wild animals in the middle of the city, but their attitude of this is their domain.
That moment with the coyotes, I loved it in the script. It's one sentence, you know, in the coyotes, and I thought, what is he going to do with this? And then when you see that scene, that moment, it just had a poetry and a hypnotic quality.
First time in LA?
No. Tell you the truth, whenever I'm here, I can't wait to leave. It was too sprawled out, disconnected. You know, that's me. You like it?
It's my home.
Michael definitely knows LA. I mean, he took me places. Jamie and I, we'd be sitting in the car, you know, hanging out going, how did he find this place? You know, how did he get it? Where are we right now?
I told Mike, I said, but you know, I'm from the ghetto. You're not from the ghetto. I know the ghetto. You want me to show you some ghetto? And he would take you to places where even I was like, man, lock the doors, man. What is this?
The film, in some sense, is the beneficiary of many years of location scouting on different projects, and it was always with an eye to do one uniquely focused film in LA and tell a story that evokes some of the wildness, what lurks below the surface.
You see LA like you've never seen it before. Just the opening shot, when you look at that cab driving out and you see the big paintings on the walls, it's beautiful. He's interested in things like that and has a way to use it in a movie, and it can make it part of the story.
There's a lot of murals that we use in the picture, some of which we've actually copied from one place and moved to somewhere else to put it on a wall. So if you stop at a gas station, it's like a tienda, and it's got a whole wall full of murals of vegetables and everything that's sold on the inside. That is Los Angeles.
I share the same passion that Michael Mann does. He loves LA. We're shooting a lot in downtown Los Angeles. That is a reoccurring visual theme in the movie, is the downtown skyline.
What the hell?
The way Michael likes to work, he picks the perfect back alley, the perfect back of the building, the perfect entrance, and it's 10 different buildings, 10 different alleys, and it all merges and becomes seamless.
Oh no! Shit!
We drop a body on the car from about 3 stories up. It was done with a dummy that was wired into the car. And the effects crew did a fantastic job of rigging it so that the head has to hit the windshield in a certain spot and smash the windshield. We need to keep a car like that exactly as it was when we did the stunt from that moment on. We keep this car, which we affectionately call car number 3, as our hero car for that.
I'm pulling you over because your windshield smashed.
I think they have 17 different cabs, and they're all sliced and diced different ways so they can make sure that he gets the shot.
It is true that we have 17 versions of our hero taxi, and all of these taxis, the insides are all identical. The entire inside is actually covered with a fabric that is a Velcro accepting fabric, and the whole car is wired so that the right key light exists. And this is the same stuff that's the backing in a cell phone, but it was custom built to be just the right color and temperature of light that our director of photography wanted. This can bend and be placed just about anywhere in the cab because of the Velcro throughout the cab. This is what we call cab number 9. We've obviously removed the motor, and it has a flat towing system here, and air suspension in the front and air suspension in the rear, so that when we place an entire camera crew and all the HD cameras and everything in the engine compartment, and it gives us the ability to shoot directly through the windshield and into the back of the taxi, getting the 2-shot where you'll see both Tom and Jamie.
Shit.
One of the things that's challenging about this show is obviously how do you move around and do interesting things within the taxi, which is why we built what we call the Pope-mobiles. They sort of picked up the name Pope-mobile because of the superstructure around them, reminiscent of the vehicle that Pope John Paul travels in. There are 3 Pope-mobiles, one for shooting from the passenger side, one for shooting from the driver's side, and one for shooting from the front.
It's a very, very important set to Michael, the cab, the logo of the cab, how the cab is lit inside, the colors of the cab.
There's a cab company here that has kind of those colors. It's kind of a strange lipstick orange. And what's strange about it is that the color, it takes one kind of a sheen under sodium vapor light, which is very yellow, and it looks completely different under mercury vapor.
Michael wanted to have the orange taxi essentially get the sheen of almost a bluish lipstick. We probably painted 5 or 6 cars entire in an effort to get to it. We sort of drew a line down the middle and painted one half one color and one half another color. And then we probably painted nearly 50 2-foot by 2-foot square samples. And we would take those out on scouts and look at them in different environments, different lights.
In the end of the day, we got this one basic color, and then I put a clear coat on top of it, and we floated 5% blue in a clear coat, and the blue vibrated the orange a certain way, and I got what I was looking for.
Red light.
The movie, it's not an action story. It's a drama with realistic action that works for the story. That's what I liked about the car flip. You're doing it for an emotional reason.
Go fuck yourself!
We rehearsed that car flip. The way Michael saw it in his head was he wanted to go across the intersection in front of the Staples Center, hit into parked cars and turn over and get on its top. Most of them land back on their wheels. He wanted it upside down. So we went out and tested it. And that's exactly the way we shot it on the night.
I would change nothing. Everything that I would basically everything on board did I with Dolce, so I'd change nothing. If I want to board it,
And I get
If
with
you abort it, once we're about 50 feet from that, it's going to be kind of hard to abort.
So you can see where the lens hit it.
But there should be one was coming right at us. That camera went to Airflex 7.
Michael feels that for the reality of capturing the car as it was truly crashed, he wants to actually utilize the cars that were crashed for the rest of the scene post-car crash. It is a big challenge for us. Working with a car that's been through this kind of an accident is very difficult. The frames are bent, the roof is caved in, and a lot of modification has been made for safety. We're going to install a full interior of the taxi, the divider, the seats, all the meters and equipment, as well as add a fair amount of structural support so that when we have Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx in there, it doesn't squash down on itself.
All right, guys, clear the background, please. Okay, let's get some glass around here. A little deeper in the seat. Go ahead. Ready, and bang, crash, action. Look for him, see, be careful, he may shoot you.
It was great because we were shooting in high def, so usually in film you have to stop after a few takes. That can be very difficult. Michael, he thinks like an actor. So he knows I want longer runs, and he's looking at the way that he shot it in the lighting so we could have long takes and just explore the scene.
That works for acting because instead of a 10-minute magazine, and it's always in the middle of a great take that you start running out of film and you have to interrupt the process, we just bang a 1-hour tape in and we could roll for 55 minutes.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts because Michael Mann can take some takes. Because, you know, you wait on, we're out, tape rolled out.
Let's go again.
When you're working for Michael Mann, you're like, I want to go in there and kick ass tonight, you know, and really do a great job and show Michael what a professional I am, and, you know, I really know my stuff.
Ready and action. Action, people in action.
You're 75 takes into, you know, 2-page scene on a phone by yourself, and you start going crazy, you know, you lose your shit.
We are waiting on that thumb. You know how he does that little... When he does that, let's move on. If you don't get that, It's like, oh, man, we waiting on the thumbs. We waiting on the thumbs. We've been here all night. Can we get a thumb? And once he does this, then everything is cool.
He winds out any preconceived idea of what you think a scene should sound like, look like, be acted like, until all you have left is just what is sort of happening in the moment. Come on! By the end of it, it was pretty raw and pretty immediate. It was just connected to what was going on in the scene, and no thought or performance.
You are forced to go to the truth. If I walk out of here tonight, I will go so far away, it'll be just like I was dead.
Go back to I promise if I walk out of here.
I'm gonna give you my word.
And then you don't have a fucking choice. There's more the attitude than you're truly sorry, okay?
Okay. He has a way to just strip the actor away and get to the truth of the material.
Just take that again and just say, hell, make it 30. Give some more of it. Yeah,
you know what? Doing it over and over again is giving a lot of room in that performance to choose 50 great moments.
Hell, make it 35.
As opposed to just 2 great moments.
And cut.
Everybody knows that Michael, man, it's like a school in the sense that, oh, you got accepted. You got in. Oh, you going to Michael Mann University? Wow, y'all, what type of grade did you get? It makes you go home and get your homework done. And then you feel like every single day you pass the test.
When all these executives are home sleeping or partying or doing whatever the fuck they do, they know in the back of their mind that Michael Mann is working.
It's gonna be great. You want me to drive on?
We ended at 9 o'clock this morning. Good, he's like, I want to keep shooting. And this was after, I don't know, he's probably been working 18 hours at that point.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1.
Oh, man, he fell on his head. Shit, I think he's dead.
Good guess.
You killed him?
No, I shot him. Bullets in the fall killed him.
Max, 6 billion people on the planet, you're getting bent out of shape because of one fat guy.
There's a glib nihilism about this dark character.
Oh, shit.
Okay, it's only a dead guy.
Max is raising issues that actually resonate with parts of Vincent's life that the text doesn't deal with, but Tom and I understand. So sometimes we would have to take many takes to get that extra nuance, that there's an additional reaction there. And that additional reaction may be designed to pose a question, which is going to get answered later, like, what's going on with this guy? There are hints of it that start to show up, and it has to do with a line he delivers, and we don't know if he's being troll or if he's being sincere. They go to see Max's mother, and Vincent says, buy her flowers. And Max doesn't want to buy his mother flowers. And Vincent looks at him and says with a totally straight face,
She carried you in her womb for 9 months.
what did that mean? And you find out later that it meant something.
Been calling and calling.
Yeah, well, I got caught up at work.
Why couldn't you call me on the telephone?
He's bored in Max's mother's hospital room until she compliments him.
You paid for my flowers? They're beautiful.
And it almost becomes as if there's a budding sibling rivalry between Vincent and Max for the affections of Max's mother.
I'm very happy to meet you, Mrs. DeRocher.
Oh, just call me Ida.
Hey, Ida. Max?
Leave me alone. Here's this guy who's a killer. Here's this guy who's just driving a cab for 12 years. And they come together, and all of a sudden, it's like a spike in a railroad right here in this point where things are going to change this night.
Why doesn't he kill Max? You know, you see this relationship and this bond. Even Vincent cannot articulate the effect that Max has had on him. You know, seeing his mother, seeing the family that he never had.
Let's see what else you can do.
He's falling apart in the movie, really. Where does that crack happen? Where is that moment of, I've just done something wrong, and then trying to push it away? It really happens at the end of that jazz club.
There's something disrupting this man. There's tectonic plates that are shifting deep down in the core of this person because it's the depth of feeling of Vincent's past that starts to come out, and it's happening tonight.
He holds Daniel's head, and you can feel a little bit that at this point he really feels some sort of compassion for this guy, but tries to hide it, comes back to his persona, to his cold-blooded killer. Some other directors, they don't even speak to you about emotion, but Michael goes like, here, I want you to show that he's going through this very deep memory, and suddenly he's changing. So I have to think of the music very emotionally, very dramatically.
One of the most just purely enjoyable voyages you go on, for me, is to find what the music's voice is. I love working with orchestras, particularly when you can get an orchestra to sound not the way orchestras conventionally sound. It works for me when I feel that's Vincent. I'm hearing something musically and it's Vincent.
The climax of the movie, which normally would take 4 to 7 minutes, is expanded to take more like 17 to 20 minutes. And our big objective was to not reach our dramatic climax too early. Michael was very clear about the ending taking place in 3 movements.
Put your hands on top of your head.
The end begins when Max realizes that Vincent's last victim is Annie.
1L20, I need a backup on a 187
tus
suspect.
trailers. Visita mi canal.
We call it the race to warn. The immediate temptation was to go all out right there, when in fact what we really had to do was save our largest amount of energy for 5 or 6 minutes later. The second section being what is referred to as the cat and mouse, when Vincent is actually in the law library looking for her and she's crawling on the floor. I took all the percussion out and really wanted to feel like it was a suspended moment, like time just stood still. You see LA at night over Tom's shoulder with helicopters circling, and these glass partitions sort of refracting the light and creating all these halos and these strange sort of color schemes around the whole scene. So I was trying to choreograph the music to these very opaque and impressionistic visuals. At the same time, creating a huge amount of tension, because it's obviously a very tense moment. And the last act is the race to get on the train, and then all hell does break loose. We were extremely overt at that point, my scoring specifically what's happening.
The film, particularly through the last third of it, is very much a cascade. James Newton Howard used percussion in a really interesting way and just maintained a certain relentless energy as one event cascades into another.
I do this for a living!
Vincent finds himself in the presence of a real adversary in the form of this bumbling cab driver who's never fired a handgun in his life because Max has seen into Vincent.
What's with you?
As in?
The standard parts that are supposed to be there in people in you are.
He has truly seen Vincent for who Vincent is. During this night, during this very edgy kind of slice through LA, the totality of Max's experience, who he is and who he has been as a man, and the totality of who Vincent is, come into a conflict from which neither man will ever be the same again. And this one night, everything is changing. I have a certain idea of what I want to capture, and it's probably a certain mood, a certain feeling of LA that's representative of the whole, but in fact is also highly selective. I find LA most fascinating of contemporary American cities. There's a certain sense of heightened expression in the architecture, and there's almost a patina of wear over everything. So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that used landscape of dreams from a different era.
Y tus trailers. Visita mi canal.